we've got one thing left to do to discuss before we put a bow on this show. So we're gonna kick it over to Grant, and it is fitting since it is the fifth episode 53, the Grant Caster episode. He has Curveball of the Week.
Well, thank you, sir. Um, but honorable mention for episode number 53, if I could, for myself. This would also be the Navarro Bowman episode.
I knew you were gonna go there.
I absolutely love that guy. He was probably one of my favorite linebackers when he played in the league, and it's such a shame that his career ended the way it did in that NFC title game, taking that helmet to the knee. Um, God, it sucks. Because Dylan, as you would know, um, defensive linemen and linebackers are my favorite players in the field to watch. And boy, that dude was hell on wheels on that football field. So special shout out to Navarro Bowman, episode 53. But to what I'm here for, curveball. Uh, and it got me thinking. Dylan, you asked one a couple weeks ago, maybe even a couple months ago. What's your guilty pleasure of a song or an artist you like to listen to? Well, how about this week? What is your television show, your TV show, where it's kind of your guilty pleasure? Like when you tell people, "Hey, I started watching this," they're gonna look at you funny, like, What's wrong with this guy?" Or you tell them, "Hey, I've been kind of watching this," and that is something that doesn't match your personality, and people are so shocked to their core that you actually watch this. So I it's like a guilty pleasure television series and or show.
I don't know if I would classify it as a guilty pleasure show, but I guess you could say it's a bit of a fallback show it's always good to go back and watch, and it's still funny every time you see it. Like it's a show that I've seen count like on a conservative level 7 or 8 times all the way through.
Hmm.
Well, I guess it'd probably be two. It would be one would be Trailer Park Boys.
Okay.
Incredible, just the one-liners, just absolutely just characters with Ricky, Julian, Bubbles, Leahy, Randy walking around with no shirt.
Yep.
Just it's just a funny show, and every time I'll start it, I'll just get bored one day and I'll start watching episode one, and then next thing I know, like 2 weeks later, I'm on season seven, getting ready to finish the finale of it because
Hmm.
it's just always so everything about it, just the Rickyisms, worst case Ontario,
Yep.
all of those different sayings, and then the other one is probably yours. Would be one of yours as well. Would be the league.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yep, and just the one liners, the jokes, the pranks, the with
The petty.
the pettiness, Ruxin's pettiness, and his conspiracy theories, I guess, of sorts, if you will, of all the things that he thinks going on that
I mean,
everyone's
yeah,
colluding against him.
the collusion that's going on, the nonsense that Taco brings into each episode.
The EBDBB&B, the three penis wine.
Yep. Or the porno with Seth Rogen and Rafi.
Yes, yes. I mean, Rafi's a character in himself, and
Oh my God, yeah.
that's exactly how I got hooked on the show is because you told me to go watch Rafi from the league on YouTube, and I was watching it before class one day in college, and I'm sitting there just laughing hysterically, and this person next to me is just sitting there like, "What are you like?" Looked at me like I was crazy, and I'm like, "Yeah, sorry, but this is too funny." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Then what do you know? Go home that night and start it."
Hmm.
And then yeah, now I've seen it probably 8 to 10 times. I haven't watched it lately. Recently, I've just seen it pop up on TikTok a couple of times in the or reels in Instagram. But
And with fail, whenever you find one, you send it to me, and God bless you for that.
yep.
Uh, it-
uh, I might. Who knows? Maybe tonight when we're done recording, I might go and watch this. Go and watch a couple of episodes.
yeah, there you go. Because I remember when season 7 came out, we weren't able to catch it live because we were still in school, but it came out on Netflix, and I'm pretty sure I watched all like 13 episodes in one day.
Yes, me too.
When I binged the whole thing, I was like, all right, well, I'm watching this.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
S-
But but yeah, so to the person with the root of the question here, the reason I thought this was such an appropriate question is because my answer here is just so ridiculous and it's so not Grant that you're gonna just absolutely you're gonna just fall to the floor when you hear this. But so it's kind of a little story time here. So it was like 2017 or 2018. I'm living with Alec and we're at the apartment at this time. And I come home and he's laying on the couch and he's watching this TV show. And I'm like, dude, what are you watching? Are you watching reruns of The Hills? Like it was something on MTV and it didn't look good. And he was like, well, I don't know. It's just kind of something I found on the TV. It's these people who live in Florida in this nice community, and it's kind of a reality show. And I'm like, weird. But since we live in it was a two-bedroom apartment with a small living room, I didn't want to be that guy who went to his room and turned Netflix on. So I was like, so I'll give it a shot. And then it's called Siesta Key because it's by Siesta Beach there in Sarasota. And then as I'm just keep watching this, I'm thinking, these are the worst people in America. I mean, they bicker like high school students. They clearly don't like each other. And it's just trash reality TV, but it's taped and it's real life. And here we are like 5 years later, and guess what? A new season has come out. And guess what? Alec and I have on our DVR every single week.
Siesta Key.
Just the episode of Siesta Key. it's it's one of those where it's like these people they're truly awful people, and you would not want to be with them. But some of the stuff they just get into and the arguments they have and how petty they are and the things they'll do to be on TV, it's kind of comical to watch. It almost makes you feel good about yourself where it's like, you know what, could you imagine how bad my life would be if I was on TV and how much I'd hate myself?
You definitely seem like a guy that would fit in
Mhm.
reality TV, Grant. That's
Um,
definitely when I first met you, I'm like, this is a guy that's a reality TV star in the making.
and it's kind of funny though is over these years, Caleb and Courtney, two of my good friends. Courtney, she loved it because she's a white woman and anything on TV white women love. He can't stand the show. So to get on Caleb's nerve, whenever I'd go over there to meet up with him. We just got to talk about the latest episode with Courtney. So Caleb has to sit back and listen to us talk
Ah,
about this.
I love it. That's hilarious.
He just gets so upset. And then after a while, he kind of starts thinking he's not talking as much smack about it anymore. So, it's kind of funny. But one of those shows where you say, "Ooh, Grant, he's not going to watch that," but sure shit, every single week he's got it on his DVR and he's got to catch up and see all the drama that's going on there in Southern Florida.
All right, well, there you go. It's Grant is a Siesta Key fan. I'm a league and trailer park boy since I don't really have I guess a guilty pleasure. I'm pretty straight cut there on my TV shows, but that'll put a bow on this week's episode. Thank you guys for listening. Check us out on all of our social media platforms: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, 3G TB Podcast, and then check out our Facebook page, the Three Guys Talking Ball Facebook page. We'll be posting some content there. The segment cut ups of the show is going to be posted on Friday, so if you only want to see certain parts of the show, just go to our YouTube. Make sure you subscribe there. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Thanks again for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.